Hey, what's up, people? Hey. I got something to say, of course. Again. Yep. What is going on here? Oh, people drive like maniacs nowadays on the road. Complete maniacs. Seriously. It's dangerous nowadays to be on the road. You know, somebody basically was stopped in front of me because they got into the line of cars. And they just decided without any turn signal to just, well, I'm on a freeway, by the way, to just like get straight out of the line right in front of me. Not right in front of me, but like, you know, when you're on the freeway, you're not driving slow, so everything that happens in front of you comes to you fast. It's so stupid, really, so stupid. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, nobody thinks, man. People just don't think anymore. They're so disconnected with, you know, everything around them, within them. Is just a mess. It's a total mess. You can't trust anybody anymore. You have to like look out for yourself all the time. All right. Oh, sorry. I was gonna tell you something, and it's so many distractions with the way things are going on the road. All right. So what I was gonna say is that the way this society functions, that it's on such a low spiritual level, on such a disastrous rock bottom, spiritual rock bottom. I don't care what you're gonna say. Oh, you know, there's awakening happening, you know, blah blah blah. These snowflakes. Don't please spare me from all that nonsense. Because look around and be realistic, okay? Be objective. Don't be subjective. Don't, you know, just because there's some trends going on and some movements, cool, got it, yeah, good things are happening. But in general, you can clearly see that if you want to see it, of course, if you actually are willing to see it. Most of you are not. That's why you want to live in a denial of saying, you know, it's not like that. Everything's happening very different. You just don't see it. You know, it's when you look at it, it's very obvious that our society is at a spiritual rock bottom. Honestly, rock bottom, spiritual rock bottom. That's how I would call it, because it's so vain and it's so low, so shallow. You know, when it comes to that awareness, to that consciousness. Anyway, so why that is happening as well? Of course, I'm not putting all the responsibility on those people, but there's no role models. Okay. All the people that we have in positions of power, so-called power, you know, political figures, all these people, they're all corrupt. And if they were not corrupt before it, then definitely they got corrupt, you know, during the time of politics, because the whole system is designed to be this dirty filter. So what do you get when you pour, you know, good coffee over crappy filter? You get crappy coffee, right? That's exactly what I mean. So, I mean, look, the people in power are the people that were supposed to show some kind of example, you know, to actually lead nations, are corrupt, very, very corrupt. You know, ethically, morally, extremely corrupt people. So of course, I mean, what do you expect? What do you honestly expect of such people leading masses? You know, so even if there were people that were willing to go in the I don't want to say the right direction, just in the direction of, you know, spiritual enrichment, you know, expansion of their own consciousness, of themselves and everything that surrounds them, which is themselves as well, in different forms, different shapes, you know, different reflections of themselves. Even if that was the case, it's so ridiculous to expect that we would have these amazing society, these, you know, these standards, these high standards attained and achieved, you know, fulfilled, whatever, completed, with people being so, with this people that are leading people being so corrupt, ethically, morally, in many, many ways. So of course there's no role models. And when I'm speaking about that, like I don't mean that you need a daddy or a mama to show you when you're a grown person. No, but we have young minds, so to say. So young people, watching this stuff, watching this circus, absorbing this information and this behavior, this polluted, evil, demonic behavior. And I'm not demonizing them. I'm just being real, because you can't be in those positions, where these positions require and demand respect. They demand, your responsibility, your accountability, and then you act like a monkey, like an actual monkey. You're the same as these lower classes of people, and you should never be like that. And I'm not saying that if you were, then people would suddenly all completely be perfect and all change in one day. No, I'm not saying that. But we cannot expect to have this society running on a different level of awareness by having these clowns and these evil, sadistic, corrupt people in places that are influencing, the media, that are basically bowing down to forces that basically guide them that way, guide them in the way to corrupt everything that's around them, themselves and everything that's around them. That's the whole problem, you see. If we were to have people, leaders, in those positions, those people would have to be specifically pure and clean. And I don't mean they have to be saints, all right? I'm not saying that. But they would have to cleanse themselves from these earthly desires of greed, fears. Because greed comes from fears. Piling up with all these, monetary benefits and, material luxuries and stuff, because that's what they're doing. So they're not displaying anything spiritual. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's purely secular, materialistic mindset of this disgust, this constant grabbing and in every position they walk all over each other and other people to get there, and it's just no consideration, no respect for life in general. And that's why we have what we have. That's why everywhere around you look at, there's no rules. There's really no rules. We have so many laws and so many so-called rules, and yet barely anybody enforcing them. So of course people will do whatever they want to whoever they want, and as long as they can get away with it. And that's sometimes very, very long in our society. There's no order. We need order. We need structure. All you hippies out there who are like, everything is flowers and love and this and that. Like, no, it's not. It is totally not. Humans need structure. Otherwise, they become like apes at the zoo. You know what apes do? They all sneakily stare at a guy on top who's beating his chest on top of the tallest rock, because he beat up everybody else to be up there, and now he's the king, all right, that everybody fears, but also a lot of them trying to get off that throne, and they will do anything sneaky behind his back to get him off that rock so they can climb up there and do You see? This is what our society does. It's absurd and it's bizarre. So I actually don't see any hope. Honestly, don't see any hope for these nations to proceed, to progress, to actually go on. I really don't. I honestly see that it's gonna come to the destruction and of many nations. It will come to extremely, extremely difficult times. Mind you, it's coming. this is not a wishful thinking, or me being mean, or me like not being on board, wishing good for this society. No, not at all. I actually wish that people would see through this ape mentality and just stop and realize and recognize themselves as something different. It's something that is an organism that it's capable of higher order, that it's capable of higher organization. Not this chaotic nonsense, this stupidity. Everything goes. We gotta be tolerant to everything. And that's why we have people who spit at our faces, who slap us in their face, and we have to wait for the corrupt government to act in our defense, protect us from each other. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what happens? You know what happens. You know the system. Nobody ever protects you. You have to protect yourself, and when you do that, then you're the bad guy. That's how it goes. And if you're not the bad guy, you're the good guy that everybody, Mr. Nice Guy, that everybody walks over and wipe their shoes on you. And when you don't allow that, stand up for yourself, and then you're suddenly an aggressor, then you're suddenly a violent person with issues, and blah blah blah, and on and on and on. That's it. And you're intolerant, and you're machistic and chauvinistic, or all sorts of stuff, and racist, bigot. I don't know what all names they attach to you. Whether they have anything, whether your stand up for yourself, you standing up for yourself, anything to do with those issues or nothing, it doesn't even matter. Suddenly you're in that category of those people. That's it. It's because that's how they shut you down. That's how they keep you down. And because that's the only way they can continue, going under the radar, doing this stupid stuff. And then nobody's held accountable for it. Think about it, because listen, if we ourselves will not demand of those positions and those people to be responsible and accountable, they will be the reflection of us. Because currently they are the reflection of the majority of society. Because the majority of society is effed up. Yeah. Spiritually, extremely, extremely shallow. Extremely just out. So those people in power are the reflection of the majority. That's why these can keep going. That's the only reason. Unless those of us who are strong enough and who understand these things stand up and say, excuse me, no more. It's over. Because that's what's going to have to happen. That is what's going to have to happen. And this is not violence. This is not us going and, hurting people. Not about that at all. Guys, I do not care. Violence and aggression in that sense doesn't do anything. Does absolutely nothing. But we have to be firm within us. And we have to demand these standards. And we have to stand up for those standards. Okay? We can't let ourselves be, if we're socially shamed, or who cares? What do you care about? You're gonna die one day anyways. Who cares? Why are you so scared for your own life, for your own comfort? That's the whole problem, because nobody wants to expose themselves, or actually some people do, but most do not want to expose themselves. Most do not want to stand out of the crowd and be like, that's that guy. Oh, everybody's pointing a finger at him. Who cares? Let them point their finger. You know what? Because you can point 10 fingers at them for all the crap they do. Daily. Every single day. Thank you so much for listening. And hopefully this speech will inspire you, so that you won't be one of those